Absolutely nothing in our life is going to change if we don't decide to start making changes to how we approach things. With New Year's coming up, I really wanted to dive in deep with people and help them understand and see why and how majority of people in New Year's resolutions are not able to keep and maintain those resolutions. Actually, did you know that less than 10% of people, by the time the next year rolls around, less than 10% of people either obtained their goal or maintained their goal by the time it comes around. Most people are doing the same goal, the same resolutions every single year. And there's reasons for that. And I want to take you through my 3 top tips on how to make sure that you maintain your goal, you hit your resolution, and it becomes something that's actually part of your life. Because that's what people do not ever focus on. And that's what I want to help you with today. I'm not trying to brag on myself, but pretty much every goal that I've set for myself, I've hit it. I've not stopped on it. And if I did stop on it, it was because it was a legitimate change in my life, or my goals completely changed, or there was something in my life that's shifted, but it was never a result of giving up. It was never, I'm just tired of doing this, or I don't want to do it anymore. It was something along the lines of my life changed. Just like whenever I was in network marketing, I didn't ever quit network marketing because I just give up and I just don't want to do it anymore. It was because my goals had changed. That no longer fit my family and our dynamics, and therefore I decided to make a shift. I didn't give up on any of my dreams or any of my aspirations, but I knew I needed something that allowed for me to be able to put that family first, because I didn't realize, if you know my story, you know that I went through a period where I didn't realize that I wasn't really in alignment with that. I thought that I was putting my family first because I thought that all that hustle and all that work was for them, but really and truthfully, it became something of an obsession and making sure that I hit my goals. And while that wasn't healthy, and I'm not advising that you do that, I'm advising that you do recognize and make those shifts and do something that fits your life and your true goals and vision. I want to make sure that you see that I'm somebody who has some clout in this, and that I really do hit goals. I don't give up, and I have a lot of resilience in things. So I'm going to give you 3 main things that I want you to write down, 3 main subject areas that I want you to utilize in order to make certain that your goals are met, your New Year's resolution is met, and that you are a part of that less than 10% this year. Because majority of people, I think it's like 43% of people have already given up by the time the next month rolls around. So we're going to make those changes here, and you're no longer going to be part of that group if you have been part of that group in the past. The first thing that I want you to think about is, what are your core beliefs? What are your core values and beliefs in your life? Because that is what is going to drive whether or not you go to the gym, whether or not you start that business, whether or not you decide to take on organization or whatever it is that you're doing. You have to make sure that it's in alignment with your values and your goals. One of my personal values and one of my personal goals is that I am always completely I am completely honest to myself and to my word. So even if it's something that I promised myself that I'm going to do, my integrity is something that is very important to me. Honesty and integrity is essential to me. So if I tell somebody I'm going to do it, I always follow through. It's something that I've kept throughout my life, and it has been something that's really helped me. I've seen other people, you know, how we all see other people who are maybe kind of flaky, and you don't ever know if they're going to show up even though they say they're going to. I have always been, honestly, I don't know where that came from, but I know that it's been something that every time I've said I'm going to do something, I do it. And I keep that integrity both for other people, but for myself. And once that is your goal and that is your belief system, you adopt that into your life and you decide that that is just what it is. You start following through with things. You start waking up in the morning even though you don't want to, or you start showing up to events even though you don't want to. And you do the things that you say you're going to, because that is your word, and your word is of an utmost value to you. So make sure going into 2022, you are writing down, what are your 3 main goals and values? I'm sorry, not goals. What are your 3 main values in your life? What are those values, and hold them true to yourself? make sure that you are writing them down. You're reminding yourself of them. For me, it's family, faith, and integrity. And those are the three things that are of utmost importance to me. Those are my top three. After that, it is service. And I still kind of put that, that kind of goes into faith, and that still kind of goes into into integrity. But service is another one that I try to maintain. So have three for sure that you have, but we'll always have more values and goals than just that. And I encourage you to make one of those integrity and honesty, and make sure that integrity and honesty is to yourself. That whenever you say something, you're going to make sure that it happens. Now, step 2 in this process is to understand that there is a difference in a why and a goal. And I want you to find your very deep, dark why. This is much more complex than most people ever do. They will, for example, if you want to start your own business, if you want to make your own income, people will start with, okay, well, why do you want to? We always talk about how important is your why. Why are you doing this? And people will say, because I want to make 10K a month. Well, that's not a why. That's a goal. And it's a really very achievable goal. It's an awesome goal. And I think that's something that you should have written down as your goal, but it's not your why. Or people will say, I just want to make a certain amount of income, or I want to be able to retire by this time, or I want to pay off these loans at this certain amount of time. Those are all whys. Those are all goals, not a why. Just like whenever we are trying to lose weight and we want to eat healthy, and people will say, well, what is your why? Why are you dieting? Why are you making this resolution? Because I want to be a certain weight. I want to weigh under 200. And they will say that's their why. That's not your why. That is, again, a goal. So the difference between that is a why is a feeling, and we're going to get into this a little bit deeper here in a moment. But your why is your feeling. Your goal is more of something that you can see, you can measure, and it's like a vision. So on a side note, whenever you are achieving these goals and you're working towards them, whenever you are implementing manifestation and whenever you are helping yourself envision this, I want you to literally envision and see yourself doing that goal, reaching that goal. However, that feeling that you have whenever you reach that goal, that's your actual why. We don't tend to dive in deep and find out, why do I want to feel that way? Or what about this goal is going to make me feel this way? The way we do that is we go 7 layers deep and we ask ourselves, why is that important to me? So if you started out and you said, I want to make 10K months on residual passive income, you ask yourself, why? Usually finding our why starts with a goal. But if you start with a why, that's good too. You just want to ask yourself, why is that important to me? Whatever it is. Well, because I want to be able to retire early. Why? Because I want to be able to travel the world while I'm still young. Why? Well, because that makes me feel free and it makes me feel inspired. Why is that important to you? Why do you want to do that? Well, I guess growing up, I never had those opportunities and I want to have them now. Why? Keep on asking yourself that. And sometimes we go past 7. You can go, I've taken people 20 layers deep to really find the true thing that hits a chord in their heart. So, well, I never got the opportunity as a child. Why is that important to you now? I suppose that would allow me to feel the freedom that I never had. I was brought up in a house that was very constrictive, and we weren't even really able to leave in the evenings whenever things got bad and things got kind of ugly, and mom or dad or whatever your scenario is started to get upset or drunk, and I just wanted to get away, and I couldn't ever. And I suppose maybe that's why I've always loved traveling now, because it gives me that feeling of freedom, and it gives me that feeling of enlightenment and hope. And I think that's why. Why is that important for you? Gosh, right? Well, I like the way I feel when I'm like that because I see myself inspiring others. I see myself being a person that other people want to be around. Why is that important? Because monetary things are only here for a short amount of time, but if I'm actually changing other people's lives, that's something that's making a real impact in the world. And that's what I want my life to be about. And now we're finally getting down to your actual real why. Now, hear me when I say that you're going to have several different whys. On that same note, you may also say that, well, I want to travel with my children. I want to see them experience things because I never got to. Well, why is that important that you give them things that you didn't before? And you go down that same path. So even starting with one goal, you might go down a path of several different whys. But whenever you start finding those, whenever you start having that feeling that you want, point one, you want to make sure that you are using that feeling right there whenever you're trying to manifest, whenever you're meditating on something, whenever you're praying about something. You want to make sure that you're harnessing that feeling. Embody it and feel it now and know that it's already with you. It's already within you. Because those desires are there, it's already with you. And then the second part of that is to envision that goal. So those goals, like the traveling and those things, those aren't your whys. Those are your goals. But those goals give you feelings. And those feelings are where your whys are. The thing that strikes a chord in your heart. And you're like, no, that's really it. That is absolutely it. So that's our second part of actually obtaining these goals. And where people go wrong is they will, they'll go and they'll just download a whole bunch of information about all new courses and all these new trainings, and they will dive in deep on learning all the information, and then it just sits there. Or they will go to the grocery store and they'll buy tons and tons of healthy food, and they'll, buy all these cookbooks and these, invest in this big expensive equipment in the gym, and then it goes to waste. Why does it go to waste? Because what they actually invested in had nothing to do with their core beliefs or their core values. So they invested with money. They invested in something that didn't actually put their values on the line. But if you invest with your values, if you invest meaning that you acknowledge that this goal, whatever it is, whether it's getting healthy, it's increasing your wealth, it's finding more time, whatever that goal is, whenever you start tying it down to your family or to your actual core values, whatever those are, that's when the change happens. Now, the third step to this is to write it down. Write down those whys. And I want you to actually be doing this right now. Pause this if you have to, as long as you're not driving or anything like that, and write those down. Dive in deep on that. Find that inner core of you and why you're doing this. Write those down and put them in places that are in an area that you can see them easily and readily, where you won't be, accidentally shaken. I can't tell you how many times I've thought, you know what, I really just don't necessarily care about making money anymore. I don't really care. So I won't do anything in running my business that day. Or maybe I'll decide, you know what, honestly, I'm fit enough. I don't really care. I'm just gonna eat this cake. And then the repercussion happens. And I realize, oh, wait a minute. Now that I don't have the extra income coming in, we can't save towards that trip that I was wanting to do. Or I can't do, the things that I was dreaming about. Or, now we're in a bind and I have to go work an extra shift instead of being able to stay with my family. Or maybe I ate whatever it was that I was doing because I thought, oh, I don't even care about, I don't care about weight loss anymore. I don't care about being fit or having abs or anything like that. And then I go into an IBS flare and it's like, oh, that's right. Also not having bloat and unhealthy gut. That was another one of my goals, my whys. So if you write all those things down, you can remind yourself on a regular basis that it's not just about one thing, and it should not ever be about one thing. Meditate on those daily, focus on them daily, and put them in an area where you can see them on a regular basis. I have written down sticky notes in both of my offices, and I have put up there why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it has honestly nothing to do with my goals, right? I don't have my goals up there. I don't look at my goals of, 100K months or anything like that. I don't look at that. I look at the fact that if I give up now, I'm not helping anybody else go forward. I am letting go of other people's dreams by not being there and showing up and teaching them how to run their own businesses. And in doing that, the world is not going to be changed. The people who are building these incredible businesses or have the dream of building their incredible business, but don't know how yet, if I don't show up for them, they won't know how. And they aren't going to be able to change the lives that they need. And how incredible is that to be a part of something like that? Or I can decide that that extra 15 minutes of sleep is more important and just stay in bed. Hear me when I say that I definitely prioritize sleep, but you know what I'm saying. Maybe that 15 minutes of being lazy is what I should have said. Something like, oh, I'm just going to scroll Facebook for 15 minutes instead of working on something, because sleep is really important. Actually, I don't recommend that you sacrifice sleep, but you understand what I'm saying. The other part of that is read them before you go to bed, and read yourself affirmations telling yourself that by not getting up on time, and by not investing my energy and investing my focus into these goals, I'm robbing myself of the life that I actually truly want and deserve. And that is more important than the short-term goal. So make sure you're also recognizing that whenever we just don't feel like it, whenever life starts getting hard and I just don't feel like it, make yourself read your whys. And then remind yourself that you're exchanging either a short-term pain for a long-term gain, which is awesome, or you're going to be exchanging it for a short-term gain, but a long-term pain. And all of these goals that you have them because you're tired of the long-term pain. You don't want to live the way that you've been living. You want to live an inspired life that makes you happy, that you feel healthy, that you feel proud about, that you feel inspired, that you don't feel suffocated, that you don't feel stressed out all the time, that you feel good and you have energy and life and vitality. Those are all long-term gains, and they are always worth the short-term pain of getting in the work right now. So reminding yourself that it may suck for those 20, 30 minutes, or it may not be as fun as I want it to be. It may not even that it sucks, but it may just not be as bad, or it may not be as great as, just hanging out or doing the little things. But it's only 20, 30 minutes to an hour, whatever it is that you have to do to make your goal happen a day. And then exchanging that for years and years of happiness and health, or whatever it is that you're doing. Change those mindsets. Make sure that you're not just focusing on the now. Don't be putting your life and the importance of your life and what you're doing and adding that up with just the summation of your short-term feelings, just because you want to feel comfortable right now, and exchanging that for things that are of absolute value to you. You may not want to go run your business. You may not want to go work out. You may not want to eat healthy. You may not want to do all of those things, but remind yourself that, eating this candy and feeling good in this moment, that has nothing to do with my values or my goals. That has nothing to do with me as a core human. Or sitting here and scrolling Facebook instead of actually doing something that can help change lives and propel my business forward, or do something that can impact another person in a positive way. That Facebook scrolling has nothing to do with my goals or my life. That flipping on the television has nothing to do with my goals or my life or my values. So why exchange that for something that can change my overall life? And remember that in everything that you're doing, investing, anytime that you are thinking, oh, I don't want to spend the money on this, but I'll drop $100 for a pair of shoes really fast. What are you really investing in? If you could have had $100 for, a week's worth of like an extra $100 in your groceries because it's healthier, versus that pair of shoes that makes you feel better, which one is actually investing in your goals? Or if it's, an extra $100 to upgrade your cell phone, which I'm pretty sure it's way more than that. But whatever it is, the amount of money, the $400, to upgrade your phone versus $400 to learn how to build a business that can grow and allow you to earn more income in the future. Which one actually has to do with your goals, your values? Is vanity the goal for you? Is that your measure of life right now, where having the coolest phone or having the nicest shoes, does that have anything to do with your goals and your values as a person? If it does, that's okay. Not judging anybody. But for most of you listening right now, I don't think that that's what's going to be the case. I don't think that those vanity measures are actually what drives your life and makes you feel the most on fire. So make sure that your decisions in 2022 match that fire. Now, I know that this is all so much easier said than done, and sometimes we really and truthfully need help going forward. And that's why I want to invite you to the next Healer to Home Challenge. We are going to be focusing on helping ourselves make the changes in our life that are of so much importance, decreasing that stress, finding more time in your day so you can spend it with your family. We're going to be allowing you to be a happier, healthier mom and provider and nurse or wherever you're at, wellness coach. We're going to be helping you reach those goals and attain those things that can actually make you a better person for the things in your life that are super important to you. And then the last thing we're going to be doing is helping you figure out your passion in life so you can help turn that into something that can monetize on passive income. How awesome is that? That's what I specialize in. That's what I absolutely love helping people with. So if that's you and you are wanting to change those lives, change any of that in your life moving forward, you want to be more proficient with your time. You want to get out of office in time. You want to be able to chart faster, type faster, think faster, become a super learner so you can start enjoying whenever somebody gives you a challenge of something else new that you have to learn, or being able to handle stress whenever it comes at you and not, freak out about things that maybe you freaked out about in the past. Or you're wanting to build that income. The Healer to Home Challenge is absolutely for you. And we're opening it up brand new 2022 New Year's edition. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of support. It's going to be a lot of love. And it's not a lot of money, guys. You literally spend more money on going out on one meal than you will with this entire 21-day challenge that can absolutely change your life. So I really hope I see you on the other side of that. And either way, let me know what it is about this episode that spoke to you. Leave me a comment, subscribe, make sure that you are letting me know what it is that you need next. Where are the holes in this? If this was something that you thought, yeah, this is really great, but X, Y, and Z, share that but with me. Let me dive in deep with you so we can overcome these things together, because I'm 100% here for you. As I've already shared, this is what fuels my fire in a different way than anything else. I love making a change in other people's lives, and I genuinely want to help you change yours if you need that help or if you want that help. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a fantastic, wonderful, brand new 2022.